Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Lorepod Podcast. I'm your host, Dakota Morgan, coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona. Today, we're going to be diving into the world of DC Comics by covering the hit character, the Atom, A-T-O-M. Now, I gotta say, though, as a little business out of the way first, thank you, everyone, for subscribing to the show. In case you haven't, be sure you do wherever you're listening to the show. And tuning into the episodes, you've been great for tuning into this shit. And the recent interviews, recent coverage of stories and characters and things like this episode. Absolutely love all the fanfare, and I just love talking about things that I enjoy all across pop culture. And of course, doing some great interviews with some amazing people. Be sure to check out the backlog. We've done Frank Woods recently, James C. Burns. And of course, there's social media. My X, Instagram, and Twitch are going to be in the social media box down below, so be sure to get those. X at Dakota Morgan 3, Instagram at Dakota Morgan _ Morgan 97, and Twitch, Coderex 97. All right, now let's get into the show. The Atom is a character who had a bit of famous hood here for a little bit of time during the Arrowverse. That may be the time where I'm going to cover really fast here, a time where you may have actually seen him. First appeared Ray Palmer, aka is the Atom. He was played by Brandon Routh, who also played Superman in Superman Returns. The Atom started in Arrowverse on the show Arrow, went to Flash for a little bit of time, and then got on Legends of Tomorrow. And his powers do include being able to shrink really well due to his suit, and shrink to subatomic scale or whatever size he needs, and then of course regrow as well. Because if he just shrank down, that would suck and be a horrible superpower. Part of me is thinking of the Gen V girl, though, who could shrink without any suit. It was just her natural power. Yeah, you could get her some shenanigans right there. Other areas you might have seen the Atom in is his cameo appearances in the Justice League Unlimited animated show, one of which include Amazo and Lex Luthor. Now, the Atom has actually been around for quite a little bit of time, longer than you fucking think. 1961 in October when it was made. Well, when he first appeared, by Gardner Fox and Gil Kane. And I can mention who he is, name, Ray Palmer, but he's also a physics professor. That's right, this guy is actually a man of knowledge, after my own heart. Now, where does he get his shrinking tech from? And of course, there's going to be comparisons to Ant-Man here coming up very soon, but I actually like Ray Palmer a little bit more most of the time. Ant-Man I enjoy, or the Atom though, I like a little bit more. Now, Ray was actually find a fragment of a white dwarf star. That's right, a fragment of a white dwarf star. Don't ask too many questions. So, with that in case there, he was able to experiment with it, but then he experimented shrinking technology once he found out he could do that with it. And everything he shrank and tried to regrow did explode. That was part of the problem. He developed a little bit of some tech, though, and in order to take a break, him and his gal pal actually went out and spelunking, because of course, spelunking, of course. That's how you always do it. An incident happened where he needed to save her, so he used the tech in order to help save her life. And he didn't explode. Further experimentation did happen after this, because Ray is a man of science, and that's why I love him. He's a man of science. So he experimented for a long time after this of how did this happen? What happened to me? What's going on? During the early years of the comics, it was experimented there was something in his DNA that allowed him to survive the explosion. Later turned out to be retconned, and it was the compression matrix device that allowed him to actually survive and be okay and all sorts of fineness. Now, back in the day as well, his early suit, well, he could wear it, but due to the nature of particles, it actually would be invisible and lightweight, so people couldn't really see it. A little bit of a cheap game on there, but experimenting it would appear when he wanted it to. Now, during the golden age, the big original age of comic books, there was the Atom as well. That was actually a Dissigano who tended to be really great at crime fighting, had a yellow cape and a blue mask, and he actually went around and was an expert fighter. Hand-to-hand combat was the specialty here, and believe it or not also, was a founding member of the Justice Society of America. And in case you didn't know, that is the JSA, which was before the JLA, the Justice League of America. They were formed around in the 40s and 50s to help combat the fucking Nazis. A little time period piece there for you. His arch nemesis is named Kronos, which you might do an episode on later, we'll see. Now, some adventures he has been on, though, in recent years, well, he's been around and he's still currently in DC Comics. New 52 did him dirty by making him kind of like a little minion character, but then they actually brought him back as a hero and a professor there in Rebirth recently. The Atom, though, he's super fun, and I do gotta say, though, a little bit of his personality. Why is he fun? He's sarcastic, he is smart, though, very determined man as well, and overall uses physics and science to his advantage. He also has had a protege, Ryan Choi. Now, Ryan, though, became his protege after the Atom either died or disappeared. I believe he was in the Arrowverse as well. You did see him in the Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League, and also in Injustice 2 as well. Usually, though, Ray Palmer does appear, and it was like, I was in the subatomic scale for a long time there, living on particles, couldn't die because of my suit and what I was doing, and he reappeared. Luckily for him, he didn't have to worry about starving or taking shit, apparently. Some of his stories, though, of course, he did shrink down and rewire Superman's brain. Also did a story where he rewired Batman's brain at a certain point as well. Also been known to help put kryptonite in Superman's brain. Besides the Superman tie-ins, which I still think is pretty cool there. During the Brightest Day incident that happened with the Green Lantern emotion rings, he was actually joined the Indigo Tribe for a little bit of time. Believe it or not, yeah. He's helped out on the Justice League and JSA on many different adventures, though, throughout history. He's kind of like the most famous cameo character right now, but I do think, though, he deserves his own series. The Atom did great on Legends of Tomorrow, where he was able to help the team time travel, and time-traveling capers and such like that as well. Great character there for that, using physics and science, and his own big shrinking suit. His suit was more on the techie side, more than the just flattened, kind of standard, bog standard suit that you would see in comics. And I do actually currently have the Funko Pop of him on my desk. That's why I was like, you know what we need to do? We need to do an episode on the Atom because he's fucking awesome. He was just a billionaire, though, he was a scientist, but also a billionaire in the Arrowverse beforehand, where he appeared and was slowly building his suit, doing all this shit like that, too. And I got into plenty of arguments with my father during the time saying, yes, they are going to bring this stuff to Arrow. And he said, no, it's all that street hero stuff. Little did he know the future that was going to happen. I think I proved him wrong very greatly with that. But that is a little bit of the Atom from DC Comics era. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment down below, and wherever you're listening to this, or a review, helps us out greatly. Reach out to me on social media as well, too, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. I have been your host, Dakota Morgan, coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona. And of course, as always, everyone, stay creative.